Hello, today I wanted to record a video about Hype Dynamic Camera, a project a little older. It was initially written by Lucky from the forum, I think back in 2015. Over the years, it was a little bit abandoned. It worked, but it was abandoned, and I kind of picked it up, put it on Github, modernized it a little bit, and I also added some features, made it into a easy installable Hype extension. And as I just picked it up recently for a project, I saw some shortcomings I fixed, and I took this opportunity to record a video now. So let's jump right into it. As always, you can copy the CDN link just here from the repo. There is also the easy way of downloading the minified version and dragging it into your resource folder. That's the recommended way for production sites, because if I ever update the repo with a error or bug by accident, I wouldn't do it. But if it happens, you get that in your live site. And then this way you can mitigate that kind of error if you embed the minified version into your project, especially for production. Either way, a lot of people use the repo, the CDN I mean, so you just copy the CDN. So let's start Hype. Here we go. And we navigate over to HTML, and then we kind of just paste the whole repo link, and that's it. Now we have to create a camera. This will be our camera. You can use a symbol for the camera. You can use anything for the camera. And the nice thing is that the aspect ratio of the camera in the latest version doesn't have to match the aspect ratio of the scene. That was kind of a thing before. And for a camera, you basically remove all the features. And then you go to the additional HTML attributes. And you define this thing as a camera dynamic camera. And the moment you declare it, this rectangle is now our camera. So let's also rename this here. So now we have our cam. Now we need some actors or a stage or something that we can use. So let's just use Hype Dynamic Camera. Then we can make this thing a little bit bigger. Even bigger. And center the whole thing. Just put it on our stage. Okay, now we can start animating our camera, and the new thing is that because we have a different kind of aspect ratio, having a squishy camera like that was possible before. It still is possible, but you would have to change a setting. It defaults to what we're used to, cover or contain. I think the default is contain. And that way we always have an actor. Let's lock the actor for a second. So I don't drag him around. And what I can do now is I can take my cam. I lock the cam. Put the cam on top, and I can frame my scene. Another thing I recommend is constraining proportions. This way you don't have the problem with the squishy cam. So let's go. Let's animate. I think we start off by framing the entire scene. Then towards 1 second, we're gonna zoom in and move the camera up here. And then at second 2, let's move the camera over the scene. And to end, we can kind of, why not just zoom in there? Well, 0 maybe not. Maybe let's go to 5, really small. And let's have a look. Yeah, how about we just add also a rotation. Let's record that. So we have a rotation now here. Let's put it at 360. I could have used the capo function, but I didn't. And then let's just do the rotation in the last second, so we kind of fly with the rotation into the sea. Let's have a look. Yeah. So easily you can do complex animations, as you can see. And now to illustrate the problem I had, is that if this is your setup, and you set up the cam as we have done, and you don't pass in any value, it was also possible before, you can define a stage here. If you don't define a stage, the whole scene is assumed to be a stage. So I can just demonstrate this by putting a text on here. I am static text. And let's put the static text somewhere here. You see kind of the static text on the top of the corner, kind of also zoomed. And maybe you don't want that because we didn't define a stage. So the stage is the entire scene. What you can do is you could kind of tell what is on a stage and what isn't. Let's also create a background that makes it easier to kind of grasp the concept of a stage. Let's just say this is the entire stage we had before. Let's give this thing a background color. Gray is fine. Back. Let's pull this behind it all. And now we can put the text. So this hype dynamic camera and our background, we could put it together into a stage. That's locked, so I have to unlock it. So now I've grouped them together. So I can turn them off, turn them on. That should be our stage. So we have to give our stage some kind of identifier. It can be anything, an ID or a class. I prefer classes. Let's call it my stage or stage. And to let the camera know that it should animate our stage, let's call it also stage here, we have to let the camera know the selector. So in this case, this is a class, so I start with a dot, and then I say stage. Now this camera knows it should animate this stage. So as you can see now, we are animating the stage, and our static text, because it's not part of the stage, is not animated anymore. So you can use this for an overheads display or for whatever kind of purpose you need, navigation, or just parts of the page that don't animate. Just keep them outside of the stage. There is another thing we can have a look at. Let's make our scene higher. So I had this case because I had this project with a website, so you could kind of scroll it up and down. Now you can see that the whole camera kind of escapes its boundary box because its boundary box is the whole entire stage, and if it kind of zooms up its stage, you will see it. What you can do in this case, it's pretty simple. Let's make that a little bit bigger here. You can take your stage and your camera, those two, and create another group around them. And you could call this group whatever, clip. And to clip the whole thing, the two together, you can just hide the overflow. So now you can see it's contained inside of the box. Another upside of this is that you can move this outer container that contains this camera and the stage it's animating. You can move it around together. So you could kind of say clip and position. You don't have to name it this way. It's just so if you select the group, clip and position, you can kind of move it wherever you want on the stage. And as you see, it still works, and you can scroll the whole side. Yeah, I guess I've covered everything. There was this one parameter I kind of added. Yeah, so the parameter is called data dynamic camera stage fit, and this basically allows your camera also to be squishy. if you still need that old behavior. I kind of didn't like that. And if you declare your camera to be have a stage fit, you can say it's a fill. And let's go for squishy cam. We start with something squishy. Let's go here. And we have to remove the constraint in that case. We could say that in the beginning, this is like that. And then it kind of goes back to this. So you get some really strange kind of squishy stuff, you see. I don't use it that often, but maybe you need it. Okay, I think that should cover everything. I hope this helps to get you started with this project, and I think it was heavily underused. I'm going to certainly use it more in upcoming projects and have fun.